Hey everyone, this is Ayanda back again, and joining me today, the talented Jelinda Hill. How are you doing, Jelinda?
Hey man, I'm really good. Really, really good. It's a good day. How
I'm
are
excited.
you?
Oh, I'm good. I'm good, and I'm really excited that people will get to know who you are. And just from the top, let's just dive straight into it. Tell people, who are you? Where are you from? Where did you grow up? And if there's anything else you want people to know.
Cool. So like I said, my name is Jelinda. I'm from a little city called Villa, Georgia, about I don't say 45 minutes west of Atlanta. From the country, a little small town. Everybody knows everybody. Everybody's related to everybody. That's pretty much where I'm from, and 10-year Navy veteran. Lived all over. Lived in Washington State, Chicago, few places, Georgia, back to Georgia. And so now I'm currently in Georgia now, on my own business. I do photography and video on the side. And so I started a business in the middle of the pandemic, just like almost everybody. But I wanted it to be something that included everything that I love to do. So I like photography, I like video, and I also love music, of course, which is first. But I wanted to start something that combined all three of them together. So that's what I've been doing. A little bit about me, yeah. Little
Well,
country
that's
girl and a big girl.
well, that's really neat to kind of hear kind of brief about the background, where you're from, and a little bit of your upbringing. Tell us about your musical upbringing. When and where did it all start? Where did all this music start?
So my family sings, believe it or not. Both of my parents and then their whole families, they sing. So music has always been a part of like my upbringing, their
Hmm.
upbringing, their parents' upbringing, so on and so forth. So everybody sings. Music is just really a big part of family. When we have family gatherings, we're singing. When we're just hanging out, we're singing. So that's just a really big part. I started singing in church, and I was about 5 years old. I think the first time I sang in church, and then it just kind of developed over time. But I did have a cousin who told me, Jelinda, that was terrible. You can't sing. And so I just never sang in front of anybody. After that, I stopped singing in public completely. And I didn't sing again until I want to say maybe 13 or 14.
Hmm.
And that was at a school talent show. So my parents like didn't know if I could sing or not. And they were like, well, just show us a little bit of what you're going to do at the talent show. And I was like, I'm okay. I'm good. And so they were like, okay. So they went, they were nervous or whatever, but then it was found out that I can sing a little bit. And so we try to, we just developed that over time. And musical, like the upbringing, I just yeah, at 5. And then after I turned into a teenager, I guess, started singing more at church. And I think that talent show just gave me the confidence that I needed to start back singing in front of other people,
Hmm.
to just confirm that I'm not the only one that thinks I can sing. So, that just gave me a little confidence boost. And I joined the praise team at the church and joined the
Yeah.
choir, and just what I did all the time. So, yeah, that's my upbringing.
Wow.
Yeah.
Was there any pressure from the family once they figure out, oh, this she can sing,
Of course,
coming from a singing family?
of course, of course. So we had now we have a family group.
Oh,
So we
wow.
had a little family singing group, and people would ask before I started singing back again. People would ask all the time. They would ask my parents to come and sing for like weddings or funerals or like the services, revivals and stuff. And anytime I would go with them, they would just, no, Jordan, you gonna sing like your mom? You gonna sing like your dad? And I'd be like, nope, nope, nope. I play basketball. I play basketball. And so um, but once I started to sing, I grew to love it even more. And as that love grew, of course, they were like, why don't you sing with us? Why don't you sing with us? And so, there was pressure, of course.
Yeah.
It just kind of comes with it. When your whole family sings, pressure comes. So I started to sing with them, and just that helped me. It helped me grow, and it just helped me with the nervousness that comes when you're singing in front of people for the first time. Stage fright and stage presence and stuff like that.
Hmm.
So been singing with them, and we do things occasionally. We'll post little
Yep.
Facebook videos and every now and then. So Yeah,
Wow.
that's a lot of fun. A lot of fun.
Singing family.
Mhm.
So, who have or who
Yeah,
currently are your musical influences? I mean, past and present.
I have a lot. I
Yep.
do have a lot. I like a lot of different kinds of music. So I think growing up, the heaviest influence would have been Fred Hammond.
Mm.
That would have
Oh.
been the heaviest influence. I don't think that there is a Fred Hammond song that I have not heard. Like I know a lot of Fred Hammond songs. So definitely Fred Hammond, definitely Kurt Franklin,
Mm-hmm.
um, Kim Burrell,
Yep.
Donnie McClurkin. So heavy on the gospel side. Those are
Yep.
like upbringing influences and stuff. Heavy on the gospel side, heavy on the choir side.
Mm-hmm.
So Fred Hammond, Kurt Franklin, Kim Burrell, Donnie McClurkin, Yolanda Adams,
Mm-hmm.
who else? CeCe Winans, Judith McAllister is like the song that I'm putting out now. I feel
Yep.
like that's in her vein.
Yep.
So I'm like, I kind of want to send it to her and see what she thinks and stuff. So Judith McAllister definitely heavily influenced by her leading.
Mm-hmm.
And so all those people influence me, and they have different aspects of their artistry, and different aspects of how they lead and how they sing and how they perform. That I try to pull from, that I take on, and I just keep in the back of my mind, like, okay, well, this is how I want people to feel if I'm ever leading. This is how I want people to, experience if I'm singing live, or if they're, if they're at a service that I'm at. So those are heavy influences, and also Molly Music. He's younger, he's my age, but Molly Music is really, really heavy influence as well. I love his ministry. Ty Tribbett,
Mm-hmm.
Travis Green, love them a lot. So,
Oh man, that's some richness. There's some really solid people. You just
it's a lot. Yeah, it's a lot. And then I think on the secular side, there's a guy named John Bellion.
Mm-hmm.
John Bellion that I really, really love. I love Cody Fry, Charlie Puth. I like the way that they write and they just feel it. Emily King, I love it. It's like feel good music, I love to listen to them. So,
and
it's a lot.
Well, it's true, but I mean, those are really solid musicians in their own right. Whatever the process of creating music they're in, some it's the whole process from writing, arranging to recording and producing. Some play various instruments, some just only sing. But it's just a solid group of people that you're kind of pointing yourself to. And for those who are watching, those are some really good references to kind of look up. Jelinda has put out some gems of people, whether if you're in music ministry or you just want to perform. All those people bring it on those various platforms in different ways. Jelinda, I appreciate that. Now let's just kind of dive into the project itself. You're on a couple of songs, and for those who are kind of watching and they're new to this world, what was your process of preparing and recording your vocal parts?
My vocal parts. So when you reached out to me at first, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm excited now. Like, let's go ahead and do it. So I'm like so grateful you even asked me to be a part. Like, and it was an honor. So me preparing and getting ready for it, I like to ingest a song. I like to live with a song and get to know it and feel it. Almost like I want to know it as well as I possibly can, almost to the point where I feel like, well, I almost wrote it because I know it so well. I want it to be, and I want it to be authentic when I record too. So I don't want it to be like, okay, I need to memorize the notes note by note so that I'm on pitch every time. I don't want it to be so perfect to where it feels like, oh, well, she just hit the notes. Mm-hmm. But I want, when I record, even though I'm sending a raw vocal, I want the feeling to be there too. Mm. So my process in like recording, or my process in preparing to record is getting to know the song really, really well as I possibly can. I worship with it. I worship with the song. I learn the song. And I don't want to be that person just reading. So I try to memorize too. And like in the blessing, that was a little hard because, it ain't my day at the time, but I was so ecstatic to do it. I was so happy to do it. I haven't had the opportunity to do anything like that before, and that was incredible. So, like learning that and getting to know that, I'm like giddy, like I'm cheesing in the studio, like, you know. So that was really good. And then I just make sure that when I'm recording, as I'm recording, I want it to feel like you were there. Mm-hmm. But not just that you were there in the studio with me, but like I want the same feeling to translate as if you said, hey, Jelinda, I want you to come up and we're going to do it live.
Yep.
I want it to be the same type of feeling instead of like, oh, well, I sang the notes and I just did the background parts and I did my oohs and ahs right. You know, I want you to feel it as if it's like, oh, this might be a live recording. You know, I love that feeling. I love being able to communicate the emotion with it, and try to couple those things together. So that's kind of my process, is just getting to know and then living it and trying my best to relay it emotionally with my voice, even though I can't be seen.
Yeah. So. And those are really some really good pointers for anyone watching who's like new to this recording world and trying to figure out, you know, how do I do it? How do I dive in? Jelinda has really set you up some really good pointers for you to actually, when you approach music, whether it's your own music or you are part of someone else's project and you're doing a certain part, you know, follow what Jelinda is sharing with you, because it's really helpful in a lot of ways. I want to dive a little further into this. Do you have something else to say? I mean, go ahead if you want to add to that.
Another thing that I did, I forgot to mention, like, I did it in the dark. I recorded it in the dark. So I have like a little studio room downstairs. Yeah. But I shut the lights on and just like it's like to where it's just me and God, you know, and that goes back to trying to memorize lyrics too. Because you can't read it in the dark. But you know, I shut the lights off and I didn't just cut right at the point where I was about to sing. Yeah. I like played the whole thing through and just sing it through. And I sang the whole, like I tried my best to sing the whole thing through till I got it right. And even if like I had to do another take on the very end of it, I still like I press record at the beginning of the song just to like to feel the whole thing through. So it just doesn't sound choppy. It doesn't sound like I just jumped right in there. Or I woke up in the morning, came in on the tail end of it, and tried to sing. You know, I wanted it to just feel like it just flowed. So I think that would be another thing, just focusing on what you're singing, the lyrics that you're singing, worship with it. If it's worship music, of course, worship with it. But if it's not, if it's another genre, just like feel it, just feel it, flow with it, you know, and don't just try to jump into it and like just to get it done and check the box, but like feel it all the way through. The best music, the most memorable music that I think anybody knows of, it like anybody's favorite song, you can feel it. Yep. You can definitely feel it. So I think that for me is a really big thing. It's like, just feel it. And if you feel it, then whoever's listening is going to feel it too.
So true. Well, it's a home run there. Yeah. That's me. The interview's done. Like, we have to, like, you can't follow up with that. I want to take that and dive a little further, because as someone who embodies the music that you engage with, and you know, go to the process of going so deep with, you know, recording in a dark room, so you're kind of just there with God and you're expressing yourself. What reflections do you have taken away from any of the songs or all the songs that you were part of in this project? I know when we went back and forth, there was, I don't want to give it away, but I will slightly. There's the anthem, the African national anthem that you were able to part of, and you kind of shared the joy of being part of that. Is it like, go ahead, it may be that or something else. Any personal reflections?
That was incredible. I like there. Okay, so Donnie McClurkin is a heavy influence too. So there was an album that he did. I don't remember which album it was, but he sang the national anthem on there. And I was like, oh man, that's so cool. He knows that. And so from that's where I was even introduced to it. And so I was like, man, that is so cool. And And so I just have always kept that in the back of my mind. Like I've always wanted to visit Africa. I want, you know what I mean? Like as an African American, to me, like heritage is very important. And you know, some of that has gotten lost, and so it's hard to know exactly where I'm from. But you know, that to me, that just kind of connected me. And so that was just really it was really a heartwarming thing for me to be able to do something like that. So that, I mean, I would say of the two, that of course that was my favorite. But the other one that we did, the blessing, that was really nice to be able to do something and include like everybody, you know, to do your own version of that. I think it was just really special to be able to just be able to sing over the people of God, just, you know, to bless your families and your children and their children and their children. You know, that song speaks volumes for me, and I think it's just fitting for any church at any time. It's a wonderful song to end on, for a worship service, for prayer service, for a sermon, for, you know, it's just fitting. And so, yeah, I'm just thrilled with both of them, and I know they're amazing already. I'm excited.
We continue to kind of in the studio listening to it as we kind of mix it and master it, and there's just an element you brought to the project when the parts that you sang, and you kind of just took the song and you just see the heart of God. You hear the heart of God in you singing it, but you also feel it. And it points back to you, kind of what you were sharing earlier. But there was something that God has done and is doing through you in the song. Even though it's a recording, God takes these elements of creativity and he just sprinkles his own dust, his own touch on it, and he uses us as vessels. And I just want to say thank you, because on that like the songs that you were on, there was just something so different. We've been listening back as the team, production team, and everyone else, and we're like, man, like there's so much to say, but there's so much you can't say because someone just has to listen to it. Like in this case, the way you've done it is, I just invite people to go ahead, listen to the songs that Jelinda's on as well. Listen to the whole project, but there's something that Jelinda does in these songs when you sing the songs. So I just want to say thank you on that end.
Thank you for having me. What you guys have done, what you sent me was amazing. Was done well, and I'm excited. I'm excited to hear like people's responses to the whole project, and I like do good work, and you can tell you have passion for God, you love the Lord, and I'm excited to be a part. Honestly, I'm just really excited. You asked me to be a part, and however I can support, I will. So I'm gonna be sharing just as much as you will.
Now we appreciate it, but now we want to talk about you. Yes, great. We could talk about the project and things, but what are you working on, or what have you just released that you want to share with people? You know, personal or collaborations.
So I'm working on right now. I'm trying to work on a little EP. But right now, a song is called "Defeated," and that is the very first song that I wrote after I gave my life to the Lord. And so, you know, you give your life to the Lord, it's roses and daffodils in the first couple of days, you know. Then the enemy starts taunting you, starts feeding you stuff and saying, you know what, you're not really saved. Well, you know, that prayer didn't take, you know, maybe you need to do that again. You need to fast again. You know, God didn't really save you. He don't really love you. You know, you're not going to change. You're not, you know what I mean? Like the enemy would just feed us lies, and he would trick us and connive. And, you know, some of us who are weak enough and spiritually will listen to him and will believe the lies that he feeds us, and will allow those lies to sink deep into our spirits, and we'll believe them, and we'll live it out even. And we will believe, well, God doesn't really love me, or God didn't really save me, or maybe I'm not really saved. Maybe, maybe I'm not going to change. Maybe I'm always going to, I'm always going to fall, or, and so I think I just got fed up of repenting, fed up of, believing the same lie. And I was like, how is it that I gave my life to the Lord and he put his Holy Spirit on the inside? And the enemy is winning over and over my mentality and over my mind and over my flesh. And like everything is controlling me, but the Holy Spirit that is on the inside, that I'm supposed to be following, that I'm supposed to be listening to. So I just got fed up. It's just, sometimes you just get mad, you know? And so I got mad. It was like, Satan, you're defeated. When you're defeated by the blood of the Lamb, you keep trying to trick me, you keep trying to trap me with your charming ways, your deceitful ways, but like the blood of the Lamb is over me and covers me. And I'm not who I was, and I'm not there anymore. I'm not a slave to sin anymore. Sickness can't hold me down anymore. Sin can't hold me down anymore. I'm free from the law of sin and death. So I just, just started to pray scripture over myself and be like, God gave me the power over the enemy already. So, that song was written out of that frustration, but like just a declaration of victory and triumph over the enemy. And we're free in Christ, and he's given us the victory. So wrote that out of that, long story short. And, that's releasing February 5th. I'm so excited, so happy. It's finally here. That was 10 years ago I wrote that song. Wow. And it's just, it's taken a while, but I'm glad that process is finally done. I'm glad that, that we are finally here. We're turning that corner, working on an EP. I'm trying to shape down songs that I want to put on there, seeing what God has and what God wants me to do, and, the direction we want to go in. So for now, that's about it. Until then, like just singing, leading worship at other churches. I really love being able to pour into other bodies of believers, other congregations, and being able to share and just worship together. And so that's kind of what I've been doing. I kind of do that, kind of move around a little bit and do that, and worship with other churches and friends and stuff like that. That's pretty much what I got on the books right now.
Well, for those who are watching, and if you're part of a church and you looking for someone to kind of help serve, Jelinda's led and served in various places that you probably do know, but she just doesn't mention them in this interview, and has been part of a couple of projects that you've probably listened to, but she's not mentioning. But no, she is a tool in God's hand, and I would encourage you. You may not be part of your church leadership. You just think you're an average church member, but just approach your pastors. It's like, hey, I know someone, conference or just a normal church weekend. Jelinda is one of those people I would highly, highly recommend to come to be part of your gathering. Any parting words?
I will.
Do you have any parting words for upcoming musicians, creatives, musical worship leaders, whatever is on your heart? Yeah,
I would say learn and grow as much as you possibly can. For musicians, I'm not a super skilled musician. I think a lot of people sometimes, I'm gonna let y'all in on a secret. I'm not a skilled musician. I can only play in one key. And I've been playing in that one key for the past 4 years. And so it sounds like I'm real good, but that's because I've been playing in that one key. So, I can kill a B. Oh, give me a B. I can. So I would say, like, as I guess musicians, learn to play in every key. And that's what I'm trying to do right now. Learn to play in every key so you don't have to transpose. It'd be great. Learn other expressions of music as well, even the stuff that you don't like, because you never know when you're going to be put in a situation or what opportunities are going to arise where you're able to play everything. So almost anybody could ask you at any time to just kind of fill in for somebody, or, I have a lot of friends who are touring with, top charting artists now, because they were able to play in every key, because they were able to play different genres of music. And they were ready. They were found ready when the time came. If, you know, something happened and they said, hey, we need to fill in. Can you fill in? Well, they already knew the songs because they were studying other artists. And so he was able to just fill in, and now he's on tour, you know? Yep. So, you know, I guess, you know, a lot of older people say, stay ready. If you stay ready, you don't have to get ready.
True.
And so I took that on, and so, you know, what I'm trying to do now is just make sure I stay ready so that I don't have to get ready. And so I guess that would be for musicians and for singers. I would say, get a vocal coach, even if you sing well. I don't have a vocal coach now, but I'm in the process of getting one. And like, you know, people give me accolades and they say, oh, Jelinda, you can sing so well, blah, blah, blah. Like, oh, that's beautiful. And I'm appreciative. I'm grateful for the gift that God gave. However, I do want it to be better, as the best that it can be for the glory of God. And so I think sometimes with vocal coaches, it's not just for people who can't sing and want to learn how to, but it's also for people who can sing and want to learn better in their technique and their form and their stage presence and, you know, just stuff like that. So I think that would be a suggestion. And if you want to be an artist, then I would say study your favorite artists. From the way that they sing their songs on the record, to the way that they sing it live, to the things that they say between songs, to how they relay the message. And then even as far as branding goes, how they are on socials, what they talk about, what they don't talk about. And a lot of times a person's brand is also in what they don't talk about. Things that they refrain from speaking on during certain times. You know, I won't find Beyonce deep in the comments going back and forth with people, arguing. You know what I mean? Like, and I mean, Beyonce's not my idol, but you know, for example, so I would just, you know, just paying attention to your favorite artists and what they do, how they interact with people, you know, just stuff like that. And then get a music business book. Copyright everything. Yeah. Copyright everything. Copyright everything. That's what I tell everybody. I tell all of my friends who, you know, they're like, oh, well, I want to release a song. We'll copyright it. Copyright it, because sometimes you can share something with somebody, and then later on, you are trying to release a song, and then they say, well, I helped you write that, and then nobody has any documentation or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, so I would say copyright everything and document everything that you do, and just make sure you have a paper trail. Always sign a split sheet. Always sign, you know, just stuff like that, so that people can't come behind and you know, try to take what God is giving you if they're not warranted, you know. So I just would just say, like, music business, copyright your stuff, protect yourself, pray over everything, and go with God. You know, I think that'd be my final. You know, go with God. Whatever God says do, and do it 100%. Yeah.
Man, there's some nuggets. For those who are watching and joining us, there's some really good nuggets. And you just have to kind of rewind and go back. There's so much that I think we can walk away with that Jelinda has shared, from just processes of recording to, you know, walk away tools that you can put in your toolkit wherever you go, in any creative process that you do, that, you know, these are things that we carry for the rest of our lives with. Jelinda, thank you so much for your time. I know you're this crazy entrepreneur who's, you know, she has a business. What's your business called, so everyone knows?
Called Composition Media Group.
Yes.
Composition Media Group.
So for those who are trying to figure out, okay, what she mentioned business at the beginning, what does she do? Composition Media Group, and most things creative Jelinda does at her company. So go ahead, follow her, support her. Jelinda,
please do.
Everyone, you know, this has been a journey. I want to say, Jelinda, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for sharing a little bit about who you are, what you're about, and leaving me and leaving us with nuggets that we can grow with. Thanks so much for your time.
Thank you.